Have you ever noticed how quiet the world feels just before dawn? Not the silence of emptiness, but the kind of hush that feels like something sacred is about to begin. There's a moment before the traffic groans to life, before the screens flicker on, before the mind starts its usual chatter, when the heart can actually be heard. In that space, when the world is still asleep, but you are gently waking, you are closer to your true self than perhaps at any other time of day. And that's why the first words you whisper into your own mind matter so deeply. Before the world tells you who you are, before doubts come flooding in like unwelcome guests, what would it feel like to simply remind yourself, I am still here, I am still becoming. Let us begin there. Together. There's a story in the Buddhist tradition, one that's quietly powerful in its simplicity. A young monk approached his master with worry etched across his brow. "Master," he said, "I've made mistakes, many of them. I feel like I carry them with me, like stones in my robes. I try to let go, but each morning I wake up and still feel their weight." The old master didn't respond with teachings or scriptures. Instead, he asked the young monk to fetch a bucket of water and a large rock. "Place the rock in the bucket," he said. "Now stir the water." The monk did as told, though he looked puzzled. "Do you see the rock moving?" asked the master. The monk shook his head. "No, master, the water moves, but the rock stays still." The master nodded, his eyes kind. "That rock is your past, heavy, unmoving, always there. But the water is your mind. When you let the past sit still, unmoved, and you stir only the present moment, that's where transformation begins. Stop trying to throw the rock away, let it be, and turn your energy toward the water." That story has stayed with me, and maybe now it finds a place in your day too. So many of us wake up each morning haunted by the weight of yesterday, the words we wish we hadn't said, the chances we didn't take, the people we lost or disappointed. But what if we aren't meant to erase those stones? What if they're part of the path, not obstacles in it? It's a subtle but powerful shift. You see, the moment you stop wrestling with the past and begin shaping the present, you reclaim something sacred, your choice. The choice to begin again. The choice to speak gently to yourself, not because you've earned it, but because you deserve it, right now, as you are. In Buddhist thought, there's the idea of beginner's mind, Shoshin, the fresh, open, humble approach we're encouraged to bring to each moment. Not clinging to what we know or what we regret, but returning again and again to now. Could it be that the greatest wisdom isn't in having all the answers, but in being brave enough to start fresh, even if we're still carrying a few stones? And so tomorrow, when the morning light spills into your room and you feel the tug of familiar doubts, pause, place your hand on your chest if you need to, and simply say, "I am not who I was, I am who I choose to become." Because in the end, identity isn't some fixed monument. It's more like a path in the forest, cleared with each step, made visible not by where we've been, but by where we're willing to go next. Now, you may ask, if I am no longer bound to my past, then what guides me forward? That, my friend, brings us to what we'll explore next. It was a cold morning in the hills of northern India, the kind of morning where the mist clings to your sleeves and everything feels just a little bit softer, a little bit slower. A merchant had come to see the Buddha, troubled by the loss of his wealth and the sudden betrayal of those he once called friends. "I worked for everything," the man said, voice tight with resentment. "I chased success, chased favor, chased recognition, and now I have nothing." The Buddha looked at him with deep, quiet compassion. He didn't interrupt. He let the silence stretch, like the space between waves. Then he asked, "When you were running, did you ever ask yourself what you were running toward, or only what you were running from?" That question, simple as it was, broke something open. Because you see, the world teaches us to chase approval, chase results, chase the version of ourselves that always feels just out of reach. But Buddhism whispers a different truth. What belongs to you will find its way, not through the chase, but through your becoming. There's a moment in each of our lives, perhaps many, when we begin to feel that all the running has made us tired, not free, that we have shaped ourselves into whatever the world needed us to be just to stay in the race. But the thing is, the race was never ours to begin with, and deep down you've known that too, haven't you? You weren't meant to beg for a seat at someone else's table. You were meant to build the stillness within you strong enough to know that your worth isn't proved through striving, it's revealed through presence. So instead of asking, what should I chase next? Ask this, what version of myself do I need to become to receive what I seek? This is not passivity, it's power, real grounded, rooted power. It's knowing that when you rise each morning and align your thoughts, your energy and your actions with who you are meant to be, not who the world expects you to be, you begin to attract the kind of peace and purpose that cannot be taken. And yes, this takes courage, not the kind that shouts or proves itself, but the quiet kind, the kind that turns down the noise and listens inward, the kind that says no to opportunities that don't align, even when they sparkle. The kind that waits patiently while the world spins fast because it understands that delay is not rejection, it's preparation. Remember the way a flower opens. It doesn't chase the sun. It turns toward it, grows toward it, patiently, steadily, rooted in its place. And in that stillness, it becomes irresistible to all that is drawn to its light. Can you let your life bloom like that? Not through frantic effort, but through soulful alignment. What would happen if tomorrow morning you stood in front of the mirror, not to correct yourself, but to remember yourself, and said, not with arrogance, but with calm clarity, I don't chase, I attract, I become, because the life you're seeking, it's not somewhere far away, it's circling you now, waiting for you to grow into the version of yourself who can carry it without fear, who can hold it without apology, and who can sustain it with grace. And once you begin that journey inward, something changes, your story starts to feel different. But that leads us to the next gentle question. Whose voice has been writing your story all along? There's a small temple tucked into the foothills of Bhutan, where the wind moves like prayer, slow, deliberate, full of quiet purpose. I remember meeting a nun there once, her robes faded from years under the sun, her hands steady with age. She was sweeping the temple steps at dawn, and I asked her, perhaps too casually, why sweep every morning? The wind will just carry dust back again. She smiled, not in mockery, but in that way elders do when they know something you don't yet. Ah, she said, but I'm not sweeping for the temple, I'm sweeping for the story I want to live today. That stayed with me. You see, many of us live our days as spectators, audience members in our own lives, reacting, adjusting, waiting for a moment that feels big enough, brave enough, perfect enough to begin shaping something more. We wait for signs, we wait for certainty, we wait for someone to hand us the pen, and in all that waiting, we slowly give up authorship of the very life we were meant to write. But here's the gentle truth. No one is coming to write your story for you. No one knows your dreams better than you. No one carries your wounds like you do. And no one, no matter how well-meaning, can tell you what chapters your soul longs to unfold. There's a phrase in Buddhist teachings that resonates here. Ethi pasiko, come and see for yourself. It is not a command, it is an invitation, an encouragement to stop observing and start engaging, to stop consuming someone else's version of truth and begin discovering your own. So, I'll ask you, whose voice has been louder in your life lately? The one within, or the ones surrounding you. Sometimes the world casts us in roles we never asked for. The dutiful daughter, the steady provider, the always reliable friend, and slowly those roles begin to feel like identities. But you, dear listener, were never meant to be a character written by someone else's comfort. You were born to be the author of your own evolution. That doesn't mean every chapter will be beautiful or even coherent at first. Some pages will be full of scribbles and tear stains. Others will be marked by silence, where you didn't yet have the words, but still, they are yours. You don't need to erase your past. You don't even need to have a perfect plan. You only need the courage to pick up the pen today and say, "This is where I begin again." Because when you choose authorship over audience, you begin living with intention rather than approval. You shift from reaction to creation. You move from being defined by what happens to you to becoming someone who shapes what happens next. And perhaps this is the greatest invitation of all, to stop waiting for the story to change and instead to realize that it changes the moment you begin to write. So tomorrow, as the coffee brews and the light filters through your window just so, ask yourself gently, what would today look like if I remembered I am the one holding the pen? And as you answer that, as you live into that, another truth begins to stir, one that whispers something deeply sacred about the value of your time, your energy, your peace. But let's walk there slowly. Years ago, I sat with an old lay practitioner in a dusty village outside Chiang Mai. He had never taken full monastic vows, but his presence had the same weight as any elder monk. Calm eyes, unhurried movements, a voice that felt like river stones smoothed by time. We were sharing tea beneath a tamarind tree when I asked him, "What's the most important lesson you've learned from your practice?" He didn't answer right away. Instead, he refilled my cup, placed his own hands around his, and said with soft conviction, "Guard your peace like it's your last bowl of rice." I didn't understand it fully then, but now it speaks louder than ever. In a world that praises productivity over presence, availability over alignment, it's easy to forget that your time and energy are not infinite. You weren't born to be a constant responder, an open door for every knock, a vessel poured out daily without ever being filled. And yet, how often do we wake and let the world take the first piece of us? We reach for the phone before our breath has even settled. We answer messages before we've asked ourselves how we're feeling. We commit to things not because they align, but because we're afraid to disappoint. Slowly, subtly, our days become patchworks of obligations stitched together by guilt and habit. But Buddhist wisdom teaches us this. Peace is not a luxury. It is a discipline, a responsibility, a form of reverence for the life you've been given. Think of your time like a garden. If you don't place boundaries around it, if you let anyone walk through whenever they please, what happens? The soil hardens, the flowers wilt, the weeds overrun. But when you tend it with care, choosing what to plant, what to prune, when to rest, it flourishes. It feeds not only you, but others too. I once heard a story of a monk who refused to speak for the first 2 hours of his day, not out of arrogance or ritual, but because, as he said, "Until I know the state of my mind, I have nothing wise to offer." Can you imagine beginning your morning like that, not in panic or reply, but in communion with your own breath, your own rhythm? This doesn't mean abandoning those who need you. It means showing up for them with fullness rather than fragments. It means recognizing that saying no can be an act of compassion, not just for yourself, but for everyone who depends on the truest version of you. So before the world tugs at your sleeves, pause. Before you reach for the device, reach for yourself. Ask, what do I want this day to feel like? Not what needs to get done, not who expects what, but what would bring you closer to stillness, to meaning, to alignment. Because the truth is, you don't owe your constant availability to anyone. But you do owe your peace the protection it deserves. And when you begin to treat your time and energy as sacred, not in theory, but in daily practice, something beautiful unfolds. People stop expecting you to burn yourself out to prove your love, and instead, they begin to feel the depth of your presence when you are there, undistracted, unscattered, whole. Now, once you've chosen to protect that peace, how do you build something lasting from it? That, dear one, is where discipline comes in. Not the harsh kind, but the quiet kind, the kind that roots you when life pulls. There's an old temple in the Korean countryside where the monks rise long before dawn. Their mornings begin not with chanting or teachings, but with sweeping the same stone path, the same soft strokes day after day. I remember asking one of the novices why this simple task was done so religiously. He looked up from his broom, smiled with the innocence of someone who had just discovered a great secret, and said, "Because discipline is what makes the path visible." That answer never left me. Discipline, in the truest sense, is not punishment. It's not the voice that scolds or shames. It is the gentle rhythm that holds you steady when your emotions are stormy. It's the quiet voice that says, "Keep going," even when inspiration is absent and no one is watching. In the teachings of the Buddha, there is a word for this, virya, the energy of effort, not as a strain, but as a steady flame. We live in a culture that worships motivation, that fiery spark that gets us started. But motivation is a visitor, discipline is a resident, and it's discipline, not passion, that carries you through the in-between days, the dull days, the lonely days when no rewards are in sight. You don't need to feel excited to keep walking your path, you just need to keep walking. I once knew a woman in her 70s who started painting after her husband passed. Every morning, even in grief, she set up her easel. Some days the brush didn't move for hours, but she sat there, quietly faithful to the space she'd created. After 2 years, she had painted over 100 canvases, not one of them perfect, but all of them honest. Discipline, she told me once, taught me how to be here again. That is what true consistency does. It becomes the scaffolding for your healing, the structure within which your creativity, your peace, your transformation can grow. You don't need to force your way forward. You need only to return again and again to what matters. So ask yourself, what are the rhythms in your day that water your soul? What small actions, done with love and presence, can become your anchors? Maybe it's a walk before breakfast. Maybe it's 5 minutes of breath before your day begins. Maybe it's placing your phone down after dinner and simply sitting with the silence that follows. These aren't grand gestures, but over time, they become the blueprint of who you are becoming, and that perhaps is the greatest power of discipline. Not that it changes your results, but that it reshapes your identity. You stop chasing highs, you stop fleeing the lows, you begin to trust the rhythm, and in that trust you grow. As the Buddha once said, "Drop by drop is the water pot filled," so it is with you, so it is with all of us. But here's the secret that discipline quietly teaches: you are already enough, not because of how consistent you are, but because you are showing up at all. And that leads us gently to the next realization, one that asks us to hold two truths at once, that we are whole and yet still growing. There's something tender about the way a seed holds both potential and completeness all at once. If you've ever held a lotus seed in your palm, you'll know what I mean. It's small, unassuming, almost forgettable, but within it lies the entire architecture of something exquisite. It does not need to prove its worth to become a flower. It already contains everything it needs. One morning, while visiting a rural temple in Myanmar, I met a teacher who was quietly tending to a garden of these lotus blooms. We fell into conversation over the slow rhythm of pruning, and I asked him what he believed to be the root of true transformation. He didn't answer immediately. Instead, he picked up a fallen petal, soft and already fading, and said, "The flower doesn't bloom because it hates the seed. It blooms because the seed is ready." His words struck me like a bell in an empty hall. You see, so many of us think we need to fix ourselves in order to grow. We chase growth like it's a solution to our supposed inadequacy. But what if, just what if, growth isn't about becoming someone new, but honoring who you already are? In Buddhist thought, the idea of Tathagatagarbha, the Buddha nature, tells us that each person holds the essence of awakening within them from the very beginning. You are not broken, not lacking. You are not a mistake in need of correction. You are a living question in the process of remembering. There's a quiet freedom in that, to look in the mirror, wrinkles and all, and say, "I love who I am," and in the same breath, "But I'm not done yet." Real growth, the kind that endures, is born not from shame but from reverence. Reverence for your scars, your lessons, your resilience. It comes not because you believe you're unworthy, but because you know you were made for more, and you refuse to let comfort become your ceiling. I once knew a man in his 60s who started learning the cello. He would laugh about his aching fingers and how slow his progress was. But he showed up every evening to practice. "Why now?" I asked him once. "Because I finally love myself enough to do what brings me joy," he said. "Not to impress, not to prove, just to bloom." That is the shift. When you stop growing to be accepted and begin growing because you already accept yourself. So let me ask you gently, are you striving or are you unfolding? The difference matters. One is rooted in fear, in the quiet belief that you must earn your place in this world. The other is rooted in wisdom, in the knowing that your presence is already sacred and growth is simply how you honor it. There is no contradiction in this. You can be a masterpiece and a work in progress all at once. You can rest in your enoughness even as you rise toward your potential. Say it softly if you need to. "I am already enough, but I choose to grow." Let it echo in your bones. Let it shape how you speak to yourself when no one's listening. Let it guide you, not like a map, but like a compass, always returning you to your center. And as you learn to walk that middle path between acceptance and expansion, something else awakens, the clarity to hear your own voice amid the noise of the world. That's where we'll go next. It was during a retreat, nestled deep in the Colorado pines, that I first truly noticed how loud the world had become. Not the kind of loudness that comes from traffic or sirens. No, this was the invisible noise, the constant stream of opinions, of judgments, of subtle comparisons dressed up as advice. I had turned off my phone, stepped away from conversations, and for the first time in years, I was alone with the sound of my own mind. And I'll be honest, at first it was uncomfortable. The silence revealed just how far I had drifted from my own voice. You see, the world has a funny way of shaping us. From the moment we're old enough to understand words, we're being told who we are by parents, teachers, media, even well-meaning friends. And little by little, if we're not careful, we begin to believe them. We start editing ourselves for approval, shrinking for comfort, performing for applause. But Buddhism teaches us to come home, to return to what is most true within us. Ipipasiko, come and see for yourself. Not come and be told, not come and conform, come and see. There's a story of a young disciple who once asked his teacher, "How will I know when I'm on the right path?" The teacher replied, "When the voice within you grows louder than the voices around you." That voice, your inner knowing, is not always loud. It doesn't shout like the world does. It doesn't clamor for attention. Instead, it speaks in nudges, in gut feelings, in the quiet pause before a decision. And yet, it is your truest compass, your fire beneath the fog. But in order to hear it, you have to make space for it. You have to turn down the noise. Have you ever caught yourself changing your words mid-sentence because you sensed they might not be accepted, or holding back an idea, not because it wasn't worthy, but because you feared judgment? That's the power outside voices can have when we don't pause to question who's holding the pen. So let me ask you, whose approval are you still seeking, and at what cost? You weren't born to please the crowd. You were born to walk your path, however winding, however quiet, however misunderstood. And the only way to do that is to listen to the voice that's always been with you, beneath the layers of roles and noise. There's strength in reclaiming your inner authority. It doesn't mean you never doubt yourself. It means you don't abandon yourself in the face of doubt. When criticism comes, and it will, you can thank it for its perspective without making it your gospel. When praise comes, and it will, you can receive it without becoming dependent on it. That's what it means to be rooted. Say it to yourself, not like a shout, but like a vow. No outside voice is louder than my inner truth. Let that be your quiet rebellion, not against the world, but for your own soul. And once you begin to live from that place, anchored, clear, deeply you, something powerful starts to happen. You discover that the very pressure you once feared is the forge that shapes your purpose. And that, dear listener, is what we'll walk into next. The first time I watched a blacksmith at work, I was struck by the rhythm of it, the clang of hammer on metal, the hiss of steam rising as red-hot iron kissed cold water, the silence in between strikes where transformation was quietly taking root. The forge was brutal, yes, but it was also sacred. Every blow, every spark, every moment of pressure was part of the process. Without the fire, there could be no strength. Without the strike, no shape. And perhaps that's what pressure really is, not punishment, but process. In Buddhist teachings, there's a word, dukkha. It's often translated as suffering, but that's too narrow. It really points to the friction of life, the push and pull of existence, the unease that arises when things don't go our way. And here's the remarkable thing. The Buddha never said we could eliminate it entirely. What he taught instead was how to meet it with awareness, with steadiness, with presence, not to collapse beneath it, but to rise through it. That's why I love the image of the lotus blooming from mud. It doesn't bloom despite the mud. It blooms because of it. I remember once sitting with a man who had just lost everything, his marriage, his business, his sense of direction. He looked hollow, like a house whose walls still stood, but whose windows had shattered. "I don't think I'm built for this," he whispered. I looked at him gently and said, "What if you're not breaking down? What if you're breaking open? You see, pressure doesn't come to crush you, it comes to reveal you. When life turns up the heat, when plans fall apart, when uncertainty stretches longer than we hoped, when grief lingers at the door, you might think you're being punished. But what if you're being prepared for a deeper resilience, prepared for a new clarity, prepared for a version of yourself that cannot be built in comfort? It takes courage to believe this. It takes faith, and not the kind of faith that sits quietly in a temple. I'm talking about the kind of faith that wakes up trembling but moves anyway, the kind that says, "I don't know how this ends, but I trust that it's shaping me." When the Buddha sat beneath the Bodhi tree, he didn't pray for an easy life. He didn't ask for the suffering to be taken away. He simply vowed not to move until he saw the truth clearly. That, my friend, is strength. That is endurance. That is purpose, lit by the pressure of experience. So I'll ask you now, when has life pressed you so hard that you thought you'd break, only to discover some deeper part of yourself still standing? Don't underestimate that part. It knows things your easeful days never taught you. So as you rise into each day, say it not as a mantra, but as a remembering. I am built for pressure, prepared for purpose, and powered by faith. And let that faith carry you, Not because everything makes sense yet, but because something in you knows this season is not your ending, it is your making. And once you begin to own the storm, a new question arrives on the wind. What if the very thing you fear, the unknown, is actually the doorway? There's an old tale told by monks in the Himalayas of a traveler who came to the edge of a great ravine. On the other side, he could see what looked like a lush, sunlit forest, a place full of promise and warmth. But between him and that forest stretched a suspension bridge made of rope and worn wooden planks. It swayed with every breeze. The traveler froze. A monk passing by noticed his fear and said, "That bridge looks fragile, I know, but the only thing thinner than its ropes is the line between fear and transformation." You see, the unknown, it unnerves us. It always has. It's in our bones to seek the familiar, to wrap ourselves in the safety of what we know, even if what we know is keeping us small. But there is something sacred about the territory just beyond certainty. It is where the self expands. It is where spirit breathes. It is where, quite often, the old version of you must dissolve so that the true one can begin to emerge. In Buddhist thought, there is deep wisdom in embracing anicca, impermanence. Everything changes, every moment, every breath, and with that change comes the unknown. It is not something to conquer, but to befriend. Because when we resist the unknown, we resist life itself. I once met a woman in her late 60s who had just retired after 4 decades in the same job. For weeks she woke in panic, unsure who she was without her routine, her title, her sense of control. "I feel like I'm floating," she confessed, "like I'm no one." But as we talked, it became clear. She wasn't lost. She was in the space between what was and what could be, and that space, as uncomfortable as it was, held more possibility than she'd felt in years. We often treat uncertainty like a void, a space where we might fall, fail, disappear. But what if it's not a void at all? What if it's a canvas, a place where you're invited to paint, not what's expected, but what's deeply true? To own the unknown is to stop needing guarantees, to stop asking, "What if I fail?" and start asking, "What if this is the beginning of something I cannot yet imagine?" Fear wants you to stay small, but faith, quiet, courageous faith, it nudges you forward. And every time you take a step, even if your hands tremble, you build something remarkable. Trust in yourself. Not because the path is clear, but because your heart has learned to walk through the fog. So say it, like a lantern you carry into the dark, "I don't fear the unknown. I own the unknown." Because your life will not be measured by how safely you stayed on solid ground, but by how bravely you stepped into spaces no one else could see, trusting that the ground would rise to meet you. And sometimes, as you walk that unknown, doors will close, people will walk away, dreams may shift or dissolve. But what if those no's, the ones that sting, aren't the end? What if they're actually pointing you to the yes that was always meant for you? That's where our next breath takes us. There's a story told in Zen circles of a young monk who applied for a pilgrimage. He wanted to walk across the country, visit sacred places, meet enlightened teachers, but his application was denied. Disappointed, he returned to his chores, sweeping, carrying water, mending robes. Years passed. Eventually, another monk asked him, "Do you regret that they said no?" The young monk smiled, his face weathered with peace. "No," he said, "that no is what brought me here." It's a gentle truth, often hard won. Not every door that closes is a loss. Sometimes it is a redirection, a quiet reshaping of our journey by forces that see farther than we can. You see, we are taught to measure progress by acceptance. If we're chosen, we celebrate. If we're rejected, we grieve. But Buddhist wisdom invites us to see differently. The path is not linear, it loops, spirals, retreats. It doesn't always reward our effort with the outcome we hoped for, but it always gives us exactly what we need to wake up just a little more. How many times have you looked back at something you once wanted, desperately, urgently, and thanked the stars it didn't work out? Not because it was unworthy, but because it was incomplete, misaligned, a season whose lesson had already been learned. I once met a man who had spent years chasing a publishing deal, pouring his soul into a manuscript no one seemed to want. Rejection after rejection piled up. Eventually, tired and discouraged, he stopped submitting and began sharing excerpts freely in a small online community. Within months, those quiet, unsellable words had touched hundreds. The world's no, he told me, guided me to a more honest yes. Sometimes a closed door is not punishment, it is protection. And if you learn to trust that, really trust it, you'll begin to meet rejection not with bitterness but with curiosity. Not why did this happen to me, but where is this guiding me instead? Let's be honest, this is not easy. We want clarity, not mystery. We want open doors, not detours. But life is wiser than we are, and its wisdom often comes disguised as delay. So when the no comes, and it will, let yourself feel it. Let the disappointment move through you. But then, let it move on, and when it does, step forward, even if you don't yet know where the next yes will appear. Say it to yourself like a soft compass. Every no I face redirects me to the right yes. This is how trust is built. Not in ease, but in surrender. Not when things go as planned, but when we let go of the plan and stay faithful to the path. And perhaps that's the lesson nestled inside all these reflections, that life isn't something to conquer or fix, but something to walk with like an old friend. Sometimes fast, sometimes slow, sometimes laughing, sometimes in silence, but always, always with presence. So as we come to this pause in our journey together, I offer you this. You are not behind. You are not late. You are not lost. You are becoming. At the pace of truth, at the rhythm of soul, at the speed of grace. Each no you faced has shaped your wisdom. Each pressure has refined your depth. Each step into the unknown has softened your fear and sharpened your purpose. So when tomorrow comes and you meet that quiet space between sleep and waking, before the headlines, the schedules, the endless demands, take a breath. Place your hand on your chest and remind yourself, I rise today to walk like the person I've been praying to become, because you are, and that is enough. There's something deeply humbling about standing beneath an old tree, the kind whose roots have wrapped themselves around stone, whose bark has outlasted generations, whose branches still reach despite years of wind and storm. I once stood beneath such a tree in a small forest near Kyoto. A plaque nearby read simply, "This tree grows slowly and never stops." In that quiet moment, I saw myself in that tree, and maybe, just maybe, you will too. Because if there's one illusion that steals more peace than any other, it's this: the belief that we are behind in healing, behind in success, behind in finding love or purpose or whatever it is the world tells us we should have already achieved. We measure ourselves against timelines we never agreed to. We scroll through highlight reels and mistake them for reality. We let comparison infect our spirit, like smoke drifting through an open window, hard to see at first, but choking all the same. But hear this, and let it settle somewhere deep within you. You are not behind. You are exactly where you need to be to prepare for where you're going. Buddhist philosophy speaks often of the value of samadhi, the calm concentration that arises when we are fully present with what is. Not rushing toward the next thing, not caught in the claws of regret, but simply here, now, rooted. You are not a machine built for milestones. You are a soul on a path, and your path does not run parallel to anyone else's. It curves, It rests, it climbs, it sometimes turns back in order to leap forward. There is no universal clock ticking above your head, no finish line with your name on it, only this breath, this moment, this sacred unfolding. I remember sitting with a woman who had just turned 70. She had tears in her eyes, not from sorrow, but from something more subtle. I thought I'd have it all figured out by now, she said, but maybe figuring it out was never the point. She's right. The point is not perfection. The point is presence. The point is to become deeply engaged with the life you have, not the one you planned or postponed or compared, but this one. So if you've been feeling like you missed your window, hear me, you didn't. If you've been wondering whether it's too late to start again, to try something new, to open your heart wider, it's not. If you've been grieving time lost to distractions, mistakes, or fear, forgive yourself. The seed does not apologize for blooming in its own season. Say it with love, not defense. I am not behind. I am exactly where I need to be to prepare for where I'm going. And maybe, just maybe, this season you're in now, the one that feels slow or uncertain or unseen, is not a delay at all. Maybe it's the ground being tilled, the soil being enriched, the roots digging deeper before the next great bloom. Because sometimes the stillness you resent today becomes the strength you need tomorrow. And when you finally begin to see that, to believe it not just with your mind but with your body, you'll rise into your day not with doubt but with quiet purpose. And you'll begin walking differently, not towards someone you wish you could be, but as someone you've always carried within. So let us end not with striving, but with embodiment. There's a path just outside a monastery in northern Vietnam, a narrow foot trail worn smooth by the feet of monks who have walked it, step by step in mindful silence for centuries. I walked that path once with a teacher who had taken a vow of simplicity. He wore no watch, carried no phone, had no plan beyond the breath beneath his feet. At one point he turned to me as we moved through a grove of banyan trees and said with a soft, amused smile, "Most people wait until they become who they wish to be before they walk like they belong. But peace isn't found at the destination, it's found in how you carry yourself now." Those words settled over me like incense smoke, faint and lingering. Because isn't that what we do? We wait. We wait to feel confident before we speak up. Wait to feel ready before we begin. Wait to be more healed, more wise, more worthy before we show up fully in our own lives. But here's what I've come to learn, and what the teachings have whispered all along. Transformation doesn't wait for your permission. It begins when you decide to walk in alignment with your highest self, even before you fully believe you're there. This is not about pretending, this is about remembering. The person you've been praying to become, the one who moves with clarity, speaks with gentleness, sets boundaries with grace, offers love without condition. That person isn't separate from you. They are already within you, waiting for you to rise and embody them. So start now, not by changing everything at once, but by showing up differently in the small, unnoticed moments, by breathing more deeply before you speak, by pausing when your old patterns try to take the lead, by choosing kindness even when it's hard, by holding your spine a little taller, not out of pride, but out of quiet respect for the journey you're on. There is deep power in living as if your future self is already here, because the truth is they are. Every time you act from your highest values, you make room for that version of you to emerge more fully. And slowly, step by step, you stop chasing change and begin living it. So tomorrow, when you rise, perhaps with the stiffness of age in your joints or the heaviness of memory in your chest, do not wait for the perfect moment to start over. Let the moment you wake be the moment you return. Return to your breath. Return to your intention. Return to your essence. And with each step, walk like the person you've been praying to become. Not in some distant future, not someday when things finally align, but now, today, in this breath, on this ground. Because you are not preparing to be whole, you already are. You are not striving to be enough, you always have been. You are not waiting to arrive, you are already home. So walk gently, walk bravely, walk with presence, and if ever you forget who you are becoming, just pause and listen to the quiet wisdom within. It will always lead you back